the elements of crime can be understood very well by breaking them into a chart which is before you: actus reus, mens rea, and concurrence. And actus reus itself has certain components: act or omission on the part of the accused, then legally prohibited harm, the third, the causal link between the act and the consequence, and all this has to be, the fourth component is voluntarily done. The mens rea element can be divided into two parts: the guilty mind of crimes and strict liability crimes. There are certain crimes in which guilty mind component need not be shown to be present. Now, in case of guilty mind crimes, the crimes can have one of the three. It may be an intentional crime, it may be a crime that requires knowledge or likelihood of harm, and it can be a rash or negligent crime. All these are three forms of guilty mind which the law recognizes. Now, I will give you little more explanations of the three elements. Actus reus means before any crime becomes punishable, there should be a manifestation of into a form of conduct. Actus reus has four components generally. The first component is there should be an act or omission on the part of the wrongdoer. Act or omission includes both a positive act like striking someone with a stick or with a sword or with shooting down someone with a revolver, or omission. Omission also is treated as an act where there is a duty to act. Say for instance, the mother does not feed the infant, the prisoner starves the prison inmates to death. This is omission, which is as involving treated like an actus reus, first component of the actus reus. Then there should be a legally prohibited harm. The actus reus must relate to something which is legally prohibited in advance. The person or the activity should be such which is prescribed by law in advance. Now, harm and conduct are two different things. Harm means the consequence of the conduct, and conduct is what is a physical act of the accused. Now, the third component of actus reus is the component of causal link between conduct and the harm. The harm and conduct should be linked causally. If it is the chain of causation is broken, it is not the actus reus of required by the crime. The fourth component is all these elements should be done voluntarily. Voluntarily means the accused must do it not in a involuntary manner, that he bumps against the other without knowing, like crashing your motorbike against the other person without any voluntary element because some push came from behind. Now, explaining the second element of guilty mind or mens rea may be more complicated because it requires understanding the state of mind of the accused. The state of mind of the accused may be measured in terms of the guilt of the mind or guilt component. Now, there are two categories of crimes. There are some crimes in which, in most of the crimes, guilty mind is an essential element. But there may be some crimes which are known as statutory crime or strict liability crimes, in which guilty mind element may be missing. This may be done expressly by the legislature or impliedly in cases where guilty mind component is seen to be absent by the judiciary. Now, among the guilty mind crimes, there can again be three categories of crimes. Crimes which require intentional guilty mind. Intentional guilty mind, intention is the highest form of guilty mind, where both the cognitive and volitive element of crime, they concur to bring about a particular consequence. Similarly, there are certain crimes for which knowledge alone or awareness of the consequences or of the harm is enough. In such crime, there is no need of an intention, and these crimes are specified in the penal code or in the statute. The third category of crimes, which have become very controversial these days, are crimes of negligence. Under section 304A, whoever causes death by which is not a culpable homicide, but causing death by non-culpable homicide kind of killing is known as 304A by rash or negligent act. The cases of automobile accident, the cases of construction liability where the building falls on the head of somebody, is the person is punished under 304A. Recently, in Upar tragedy case, the punishment was dished out under section 304A. In Salman Khan's case also, the punishment was to be given under 304A, but later the court converted it into a culpable homicide not amounting to murder, a higher category of homicide, a lower category of homicide. Now, the third element of criminal crime is equally important, which says that both actus reus and guilty mind must be present in a concurring relationship. They are present in a concurring relationship only when the act is done with a particular guilty mind. For example, if somebody is trying to pick the pocket of somebody and he tries to cut the shirt pocket and somebody gives him a push from behind and the scissors pierce the heart of that other person. It is not death is the result, death is the consequence, but the harm and guilty mind were not in concurring relationship.